What's up, guys? I wanted to check out this video, so let's watch it together.
你这个骗子啊！
好生说话哈！
你说你这样子闹起，我这个老脸往哪儿放哦？
This is truly infuriating. On the day of the wedding, the groom actually replaced the bride in front of both families and guests, and held the ceremony with another woman instead. The bride-to-be, who was waiting at home to be picked up, completely lost it when she heard the news. She and her mother-in-law stormed into the wedding venue, demanding answers, and furiously confronted the groom on the spot. The groom, seeing this, completely dropped all pretenses and turned hostile, shouting, "You still have the nerve to come here and make a scene?" He then publicly revealed some shameful secrets about his fiancée and future mother-in-law, leaving everyone at the scene utterly stunned.
那天他来接你了吗？应该有一个迎亲的一个。
他没有过来，他人都没出来过。我给他打电话也没得人接，这就是去买冰箱去了。结果他就走了。走了之后，然后我们那边亲戚朋友才给我打电话说咋个回事哦？咋个你们老公咋个把人都换了？我才跟我妈两个跑去酒店，才看到他跟其他的女的在进行仪式。当时这个事情出了之后，我们爸当时马上就气得到那个高血压就犯了，现在都还在医院头躺到起的。我妈现在天天都在屋头哭，天天都在屋头抹眼泪水，现在左邻右舍那些都在看我们笑话。
The furious woman in front of us is Xiao Hui. When she talks about what her ex-fiancé did, she boils with rage. On the wedding day, she had been excitedly waiting for her beloved to arrive and take her home, but the groom never showed up. As she grew anxious, she received a phone call from a friend already at the wedding venue, saying the ceremony had already begun, but the bride wasn't her. That news hit Xiao Hui like a thunderbolt. She immediately rushed to the hotel with her parents.
Now, I'll give her credit, okay? There's not that many cases where if you're going to leave someone, break up with someone, whatever, why leave it right before the wedding? Why do that? Okay? I mean, obviously, you're trying to hurt the person. You're really trying to hurt the person. But it's like, I guess sometimes, maybe I'm being naive. Sometimes you want to be the bigger person. Because how does that reflect on your sense of morality? On your sense of, I don't know, selfishness in a sense where would you want someone to do that to you? You know, so, but there are cases, right? I mean, we'll see if this is one of those cases.
And just like her friend said, the bride was someone else. Enraged, she and her parents made a scene at the hotel. Xiao Hui tearfully recalled how just a day before, her fiancé had still been affectionate with her, and then turned around and pulled such an outrageous stunt. She simply
See, that's the crazy part. If the day before you were affectionate to her, why on the day of now upset and you leave her? You know, it's gotta be sus.
couldn't accept it. Later, her ex-fiancé arrived at the venue. What on earth had happened between the two of them to make him replace the bride on the day of the wedding?
结婚就是要过日子，对不对？但是晚会那个人根本滴点儿都不顾家，打电话问他在。
Every time I called her, she was either out shopping, hanging out with friends, or sleeping at home. Here's the thing. And you should have broken up with her a long time ago. That is your fault. I mean, there's no one to blame besides yourself for sticking with it. This is the thing where a lot of us, we got to take some accountability. Okay? If we choose to ignore red flags, we've chose to ignore red flags. And then it's like, why is like, oh, one day, because like she said, if it's true, he was still all up on her, still lovey-dovey with her the day before. Now, the day of is when you recognize these red flags. This is the thing where whatever happened, you know, you're still an ass for doing it. Okay? You're still an ass for doing it. I'm not saying, yeah, if that's all she is about, shopping, hanging out with the friends, and just sleeping at home, really doing nothing, then yeah, you should have broken up with her a long time ago, not the day of the wedding. It's like that's kind of the ridiculous of it. Okay, so
在这儿，他就是要不然就是逛街，要不然就跟同学耍，要不然就在屋头睡。你说这个老婆她娶了咋子？
The young man standing here is Xiao Hui's ex-fiancée, Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen, ignoring all accusations, accused Xiao Hui of being lazy, irresponsible, and a money pit who did nothing but drain him financially. He then shifted the blame onto her mother, saying, like mother, like daughter, and started ranting about his mother-in-law-to-be. At this point, the host couldn't help but interject. You two were already at the stage of discussing marriage. Why are you only now bringing up all these issues with Xiao Hui? Hearing this, Xiao Chen became visibly agitated and said that just thinking about what Xiao Hui and her mother had done to him made his blood boil. He then publicly exposed a series of shameful incidents involving the two women, shocking everyone at the scene.
我都没嫌你穷，我跟你说，你当时我结婚之前，你
I never minded that you were poor. Let me remind you, before the wedding, you told me everything you earned would be mine to spend, didn't you? This is a thing where why accountability matters. This is something I particularly have started in my, anytime I'm dealing with a woman. Okay, it's not like I'm saying it to her, but in my mind is like, I ain't gonna spoil no girl. Right? I'm not spoiling. I'm definitely not overly spoiling any woman I start to get to know. Right, the beginning of the dating stage, maybe even a little bit of the beginning of the relationship stage. I'm not gonna overspoil her because it is ridiculous and it is a dangerous path. You are creating a spoiled brat if you do. You are creating a princess. That is a recipe for disaster. Creating a princess is a recipe for disaster that a lot of us men are really idiotic about. This is why accountability matters, especially for men as well. Because if we demand accountability from women, okay, we should show accountability ourselves. I've been there, I've done that, where I foolishly overspoiled the women I've dated, and this, like, if you can't keep it up, right? If you cannot keep on spoiling her, it is a money pit. It is just, it's taxing, it's tiring. No, because you were the one who set the precedent, okay, for the relationship by spoiling her, by constantly spoiling her. Okay, well, she's going to expect that. Most women, I mean, I know very few women that wouldn't expect the man, if he was spoiling her like crazy, she's going to continuously expect him to poison her like crazy and spoil her like crazy throughout their dealings. So this is a thing where I try to keep it to a manageable medium, okay? Because it is foolish to pretty much think you're dictating how a relationship is and then changing it up. That's the thing. I've said this to women that, you know what? Who you see now is who you see on my deathbed. Okay? So if I'm buying you something now and then I don't buy you something for weeks, months, years on end, well, that's just how it is. I'm not gonna like, oh, I'm buying you everything. I'm buying you something every week. I'm lending you like every money I earn. No. That is something that a lot of us men, we think that, oh, we are telling women flowery words, amazing words, all these shit to get her. And then, okay, can you keep that shit up? Can you keep that up? This is, I've hate two-faced people, especially two-faced men where, okay, let me say all these amazing things for you to love me. Okay, now she's in love with you, or now she's with you. Are you going to keep that shit up? No, you change it up. Oh, it was too much. Oh my God. You know, you're a money pit. I'm spending all this money. Well, you shouldn't have said that shit. This is where I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm going to hold men accountable. We need to reevaluate how we go about relationships. We cannot say or do things that, you know what, give women a certain expectation, a certain image of us, a certain image of the relationship, and then just take it off, pull the rug right underneath her. That is on us. And I've been there, I've done that, and do not do it. Okay? Do not say things, do not do things that you cannot keep, okay? Do not make promises that you cannot keep. That is so important. And a lot of us do not realize that. Do not make promises. Do not, do actions that you cannot keep up.
说的，你挣钱是给我花，对不对？你说的你要对我好，你对我一辈子好，你就是这样子对我的呀。
王慧这个人根本就不适合结婚。他跟我说别个家男的又给他的老婆买了啥东西，我心想真是老婆都要造。我就跟一个黄豆一样的，一颗黄豆，他想榨出一斤黄豆那种油来，我根本就没任何办法。52多钱给你，你自己晓得我屋头家境不是很好，我工作也没得好多几个钱。
老婆
回家还要拿钱花
呀？结婚之前你自己说的呀。
一个月就那么点钱。
Before we got married, you said yourself that men should earn the money while women just need to look beautiful. You said that, and you said that. Those were your words. Men need to stop that shit. Stop that shit. This is the thing where I do want to say that beauty is our kryptonite, right? I said accountability is women's kryptonite. Well, beauty is ours. Beauty is our kryptonite. Well, I think money is also women's kryptonite and a whole bunch of shit. But beauty is definitely our kryptonite, right? Women are our kryptonite. We have to stop that shit. We have to stop that shit. Because this is a thing where we letting women, because of our own stupidity, control us or, make us into simps. Make us into simps because we want to simp for them. We are so enamored by them. And then what is that getting us? A money pit. You spend all this money on this woman. And now what? Because you can't keep that shit up. You said, oh, I'm going to make all this money for you to spend and all that shit. Okay, fine. She's going to expect that. And now that you know what? You actually, wow. Back actually in it, actually trying to do it. This shit is tiring. This shit is too much. Stop it. I want to promote a new generation of men to stop this shit. Stop it. Leave it to the players, right? Because the players will be liars. They know they're liars. The players know they're liars. They know that they're not going to keep this up because they are just playing the game. Us average men, normal men, good men, stop with that shit. We had to think things through, okay? If you cannot keep your promises, if you can't keep your word, don't make it, right? Because this is the thing where we have to recognize we are creating women that love us, not for us, but for what we can do, for if we are a useful tool or not. Stop that shit. Stop picking women or creating women that only love us what we can do for them. That is it. Because then you got to realize you create that perspective, you create that expectations. If you can't keep it up, right? If you cannot every week buy her Gucci, every month take her to like expensive restaurants, every couple months take her to, expensive lavish trips. If you can't do that, don't make those promises. Don't give her that life. Okay? Stop that shit. Because then you can find out it's like, God shit, I can't keep this shit up. Okay? And then you get angry, you get mad at her. No. This is the thing where how can you get mad at somebody where you're the one who created that, right? How can you get mad at the monster when Frankenstein made him? How can you? You can't get mad at the monster when Frankenstein made that monster. We make these spoiled brats. It is our fault. Okay? It is men's fault to having made spoiled monsters. So we have to take accountability for it.
哪个挣钱呀？家女人不得嘛，没有人家对的呀，是你说的呀。
你们俩不要吵了，你在结婚之前你就发现了他那么多缺点，那你干嘛同意要跟他结婚呢？
Xiao Chen furiously stated that his fiancée being lazy was one thing, but what she and her mother did after that crossed every line. At first, Xiao Chen thought she was just like any ordinary girl, loving to shop for clothes and handbags. But after they got engaged, she and her mother kept raising their demands. His family was already struggling financially, but to help him marry, his elderly parents had to sell whatever they could to scrape together money to buy a house. When it came time to renovate the house, Xiao Hui and her mother insisted everything had to be done with imported materials. His parents, having spent their entire savings, had no choice but to borrow more money just to meet the bride's family's demands. Just when he thought everything was settled,
Bull, did you not think about this already? That was this, see, that's the thing where, and I've been there, I've done that, ignoring red flags because you love somebody. No, we got to stop doing that. We got to stop doing that. Men, we have to stop making women our weakness. Stop. Okay? We make women our whole life, right? They are the stars, they're the moon, they're the sun, they are the center of our world. We have to stop that shit. We have to stop that shit. We really do. Because it is destroying us and it is destroying the people around us.
on the day before the wedding, Xiao Hui and her mother caused another uproar. This time, they complained the engagement ring was too small and demanded a more expensive one. Otherwise, the wedding was off.
他们家呢是比我们家条件好点儿，我就说我们家不能亏待他们，然后我就说我去买房子，把房子买了，就是我们家把所有的闲钱拿出来，再去找亲戚朋友借了点儿，买了个差不多几十平米的房子。刚刚买完了，他就开始说就嫌房子小了，好说歹说把他说通了，开始装修房子。
After coaxing, she finally agreed to let us start the renovations. But then she complained again, the flooring was no good, the sofa wasn't nice enough, and so on.
然后他就开始嫌地板不好了，然后沙发又不好，又
本来结婚一辈子的事情，那房子那些肯定是要装修好噻。
Xiao Chen said his family had already borrowed heavily just to pay for the house renovations, the bride price, and the wedding banquet, and it was simply impossible to meet further demands. He explained that he had tried to reason with his fiancée, but Xiao Hui wouldn't budge. Her mother even stated outright that if he couldn't agree to their terms, he could forget about marrying her daughter.
Well, you got what you said it, right? If he can't agree to the terms, well, okay, he forgot about he didn't mind marrying her daughter. So, okay. So nothing wrong with that. She said it out of her mouth that don't marry her then. He didn't.
Xiao Chen said that the wedding invitations had already been sent out.
Now, this woman is she is a absolute bitch. But like I said, I'm not taking away from this woman that's absolute vapid annoyance, useless human being. But for him to let it go to this far, a lot of it's on him. A lot of it, if not all of it, it's on him. Because he allowed this spoiled brat into his life. He allowed the spoiled brat to continue draining his fucking blood, right? That's the thing. He allowed this parasite to continue to drain his blood. I swear, if my family had to, well, this is their culture, but had to like get a loan and shit to buy a house for me and my fiance, and my fiance just like shitted on that fact or said it's not enough and all this, I would just like, no. So I understand why he did it. I understand why he did it, but there are plenty of moments that he's describing. He should have already left before the whole, day of the wedding shit.
And the hotel was booked. With the ceremony just one day away, he faced mounting pressure from his future mother-in-law and a fiancée who showed no compromise. In a fit of desperation, he decided to replace the bride on the day of the wedding and marry Lily, the woman who had always silently loved him. Xiao Chen insisted that everything that happened was caused entirely by his fiancée and her domineering mother, and that he had been left with no other choice. Just as Xiao Chen was still seething with anger, the mother-in-law stormed.
The Lily girl, I hope they talk more about her because, I mean, if he already knew that she always loved him, is he not selling for her? I don't know. It doesn't sound that great.
Into the venue, and the moment she saw him, she started shouting. She furiously accused her son-in-law and revealed even more jaw-dropping secrets, shocking everyone once again.
有其母必有其女。
你这个骗子啊！
好生说话哈。
就说那天结婚那天，我女儿的喜事，我请了一把子的亲朋好友来参加婚礼喝喜酒，结果闹出这样子天大的丑闻了。现在左邻右舍啊，都当成饭后的笑料，我简直连头都抬不起哦。结婚那天了，当时就把王红的爸爸起病了，现在都还在医院里治疗，这个医药费。
You must compensate for this medical expenses and pay me for emotional trauma.
一定要你赔偿，你要付我的精神损失费。
你喊我赔偿，那我屋头欠了一屁股债，哪赔偿？
我不跟你说这些。
The mother-in-law, without hesitation, pointed her finger at Xiao Chun and cursed him as heartless, a wolf in human clothing. She angrily stated that for the sake of her precious daughter's wedding, she had invited all their friends and relatives. Who could have imagined that on such a grand day, the groom would marry someone else in front of everyone? Now the whole incident has turned into the laughingstock of the neighborhood. To make things worse, the father collapsed from anger and is still recovering in the hospital. She turned her fury onto Xiao Chen, saying he had to pay not just the medical bills, but also compensation for emotional distress. Xiao Chen, hearing this, exploded in rage. He shouted that this woman only had money on her mind and never stopped trying to squeeze every penny out of him. Despite knowing how poor his family was, she made endless unreasonable demands. And as the wedding approached, instead of understanding, she kept increasing the pressure. Xiao Chen declared that the current situation was entirely her own doing. The mother-in-law didn't back down. She not only insisted on compensation for medical bills, but also demanded emotional damages. She furiously scolded Xiao Chun as an ungrateful snake and dropped a shocking secret of her own.
我说啊，我的女儿是非常优秀的，我
I don't know. Nothing he said that makes her an outstanding person. Especially what she said. Oh, you said that you're gonna give me all the money to spend. You said you're gonna work on. What makes you an outstanding person? You've not like seriously. You just said that you're money hungry. So really, I don't know what you're so outstanding. I received so many cash gifts from friends and relatives, and now I have to go door to door to return every single one.
送那么多亲朋好友送的礼金，我还要挨家挨户的去给人家还起去，还要给人家说明情况，这都不说。你说你这样子闹起，我这个老脸往哪儿放哦？我的女儿是多么的优秀，为了结婚了，上下下。
My daughter is so excellent. She did everything she could to prepare for this wedding. She ran around so much. Her feet. How does that make her excellent? I mean, it's her wedding day, so okay. How does that make her excellent?
你跑啊，那是脚都跑肿了。
你女儿跑啥子了？你给我说下来，跑啥子了？
这个不说，结婚的所有的花的费用，都是我养老的钱垫付的啊。
结婚这个钱上。
As for the wedding, we agreed from the start it was a loan from her, from my mother-in-law to me, and I would pay her back later.
出的是他借给我嘛，相当于是他借给我，然后我说我以后还。当时他就给我提条件哦，说的结婚完了你要付4倍的利息给我，结了婚都是一家人了，我还要付4倍的利息。天爷，4倍的利息你也说得出口哦？哎。
The mother-in-law said that she had been against this relationship from the beginning. Her family was well off, and her daughter was beautiful and had a great figure. Finding a rich son-in-law should have been easy, but who knew why her daughter was so obsessed with Xiao Chun and insisted on marrying no one else? As a mother, she eventually had no choice but to give in.
Now, I admit that she's not beautiful, right? I don't think the daughter is all that good looking. But I can understand why the daughter would choose him. If what she said is true, right? All the things that he said, well, he said a lot of shit, okay? He made a lot of promises, right? Oh, all my money you gonna spend. I'm gonna make all my money for you. All that. Well, okay. I mean, obviously, gold diggers would love that, right? Women that are money hungry, women that, you know, love the lazy life, right? Like she said, buy shit and hang with friends and be lazy all day. She loves that. Sounds great. What probably no other man was saying, oh, I'm gonna make all my money and I'm gonna give it all to you. You know, So yeah, probably that's the thing. In his case, he made her love her, right? He made her love him for not him, but for what he can do for her. And if he stops doing what he said he could do for her, well, obviously it's not gonna go well. And he just realized, wow, I made promises I can't keep. Because the promises I made, it's taxing. It's destroying me and my family. Wake up. No duh. That's why us men gotta stop making, these stupid promises. Because this is the thing, yes. Women love lies. Women love the charm. Women love words. They really do. If you say the right words, you got her. But we have to understand, if we say the wrong shit, or we say these supposedly right words, we better keep up with it. Unless you are saying it so you can leave her right away, okay, whatever. You're a player. You're the bad boy. You're the Pookie. Okay, but if you are planning to marry her, you better be fucking right with your words. You better be true to your words, because you're planning a future with her. You aren't planning a pump and dump, right? That's the thing. This is why the players, the bad boys, the Pookies can say the shit that they can say, because they plan a pump and dump. They don't plan a future with these women. So you have to understand what you're doing. He wasn't planning a pump and dump. He was planning a future. So don't say shit you cannot sustain.
But Xiao Chen's family was dirt poor. At the very least, a newlywed couple should have a decent home to live in, right? So she demanded that he buy a new house. And if you're going to live in that house for a lifetime, of course you want the best materials for renovation. But Xiao Chen's family couldn't afford it. Trying to help her daughter, the mother-in-law offered to lend Xiao Chen the money. But who would have thought, he used her loan money to marry another woman. She said anyone in her shoes would be furious. She swore that this ungrateful man must repay every cent, and compensate her for emotional damage.
See, that was the stupid part, where he should have just left. Because now he put himself in a situation. I mean, I'm not saying I don't know if he's gonna have to pay her back or whatever, but it's like, he used her wedding money to marry another woman. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? I know you're trying to stick it to them, but it's like, you should have just left. You should have just not got married.
This twist.
I mean, you should have not got married and just left with the other woman that has been pining for you. That's what you should have done.
Revealed even more shocking secrets. She explained that, to make the wedding grand, she had willingly loaned her retirement savings to Xiao Chen. But what he did in return was stab her in the back. Hearing her accusations, Xiao Chen lost it. He said that she never considered whether his family could bear the costs. She just demanded the best for everything. Yes, she did lend him.
He never cared. Okay, but did you? I mean, why you accept it? Why would you accept it? This is a thing where I hold women accountable. We gotta hold men accountable too. Stop, recognize this shit. Why did you accept it?
Money, and at first he was grateful. But then, she said he had to repay 4 times the interest after the wedding.
You should have said no.
That was the last straw. Not only did she not help or support him as a future family member, she exploited his desperation for profit. How was that anything like a family member? She treated money like it was more important than people.
结了婚都是一家人了，我还要付4倍的利息。天爷，4倍的利息你也说得出口哦？
哎，人亲财不亲。
哦，你是只认
借钱还钱，
是
天经地道。
他妈的，你是不是只认钱？你掉钱子都去了是不是？你只认钱吗？
我不跟你说那么多，我辛辛苦苦的把女儿养了20多年，我结婚了，我还倒给你出好多钱。哎，你就是这样子老实的说，哎。
The mother-in-law said these were 2 separate matters. A debt is a debt, and paying it back is only fair. She claimed that she helped him when he needed it most, so it was only right to expect some return. Then she mocked Xiao Chen, saying she once thought he was honest. Now it turns out he's just an ignorant bumpkin who knows nothing about gratitude. Xiao Chen, furious that she looked down on him from the bottom of her heart, revealed another outrageous thing she did.
他这个人刚出笼的土包子， 你记点规矩了不得？我的女儿是多么的优秀，
到底是哪个不傻事？你很清楚的哈。我跟你说，我这个丈母娘还有一个就是很不能让人接受的，就是她居然会翻我钱包。
你说谁？谁翻你的钱包？
丈母娘噻，当妈的噻，这位丈母娘，这位看清楚，当妈的她坐到这儿沙发头，这个样子在那儿翻我钱包。你为啥子翻我钱包？
嗨，
你要看啥子？
你不要打胡乱说的。他这个人刚出笼的土包子，你记点规矩了不得？
Xiao Chun said that his mother-in-law not only worshipped money, but also secretly looked down on him, and even snooped through his wallet. The mother-in-law argued that she had only touched it while cleaning and didn't mean anything by it. Then, looking self-righteous, she said, "Even if I did, so what? My daughter is so excellent. You should be grateful she even wanted to marry you. And now all these relatives gave cash gifts, and I have to go return all of them myself and explain everything that happened. It's humiliating beyond belief." She continued berating Xiao Chun for being an ingrate and demanded not only repayment of the wedding expenses, but also compensation for her emotional trauma. Not a single yuan less. Xiao Chun, outraged by this former mother-in-law's attitude, declared that he would only repay the exact loan given for the wedding, and not 1 extra cent. They went back and
Well, I'll give him that. I'll give him that. If that's what he's going to do, that's what he. Yeah, I mean that shows you that he's an upstanding man. Stupid man, but upstanding. If he's going to pay back what he got from her for a wedding that he used on someone else. Yeah, okay. He should never even put himself in that situation. It's like he should have just ended it well before this. But yeah, he's upset. Don't pay interest. That's fucking stupid.
forth, yelling and accusing each other on the spot. What do you think? Should Xiao Chen agree to the compensation demands from his ex-mother-in-law? At this moment, Xiao Hui,
I'll say the only thing is like you pay back the wedding that you used, in my personal opinion. You used it for another woman. You paid it back. You had plenty of opportunities to break up with this woman well before the wedding. Well before the wedding, I believe. You should have done it, but you didn't. And then you used that wedding on someone else. Yeah, I mean, if you want to be morally upstanding, you should break up with that, right? I mean, you should pay her back for the wedding. I mean, not interest, not all this other shit. Like, no.
who had stayed quiet the entire time, panicked. She saw clearly that her once devoted boyfriend had now taken things seriously, and she was scared. She tearfully apologized and admitted that she had been too demanding before the wedding. She hoped Xiao Chen could forgive her, end the drama, and reunite to hold the wedding once more. But Xiao Chen remained unmoved. He said he had already married Lily. From now on, she was the only woman he would protect for the rest of his life.
Replacing the bride on the wedding day sounds like a drama series, but it happened in real life. Some say Xiao Chun is a heartless scumbag who turned a beautiful wedding into a revenge scene. Others say he was pushed to the edge.
No, I don't know if I would say he's a heartless scumbag, because I don't think the two women are all that hurt by it. But yes, like I said, I mean, he should have done it differently, in my personal opinion. So I don't know. What do you guys think? This is the thing where I also gotta say, this is, I believe China or Asian women are having a difficult time finding partners, and things like this, it's definitely not going to help them. Because here's the thing, whether, I don't know, I don't think that they are that wealthy, but maybe they're wealthy on their standard. But the daughter does not. I mean, I guess they say that she's in her early 20s. Okay, but she doesn't look that great. I think attraction level wise, the country bumpkin was probably equal to her. But I don't think she's gonna attract top tier men, especially not for marriage. And I don't know. I just think that what I've seen a lot is that a lot of Chinese women are going to have a hard time with marriage, especially with the men that they want, okay, and the future that they want. So I think wasting time and, making mistakes is not a good thing. Okay. So I don't know. What do you guys think?